I-35, a crash claiming another victim. A fifth person has died from that major crash involving a stolen Camaro and a small bus on I-35 near Casson Road last week. We first brought you this story as breaking news last Thursday night. So far, 3 of the 5 people that died in that crash have been identified. They were 79-year-old Judith Paulson, 69-year-old Rosalio Aguilera, and 50-year-old Jose Guerra. Several other people were also hurt and taken to the hospital. Most have been released and are back home. According to the bus company's Facebook page, the bus on its way from Fort Worth to Mexico at the time of the crash. Police said the people in the stolen car left the scene, and at last check, they have not been found. What may have started out as fun and games has ended up deadly serious. San Antonio police still looking for the person who shot and killed a man outside of his own Southside home. As Katrina Weber shows us, a witness says this happened during a game of dice.
In the middle of a Southside street, San Antonio police were at the beginning of a murder investigation. They roped off part of West Villaret near South Zarzamora, where a man had been shot around 3 in the morning.
And I just saw all these lights, the policemen, and I said, oh my God, they're right here.
The commotion got Mario Rodriguez out of bed. He had no idea at first what was going on just down the street from his home.
Well, I saw cars and cops and crime units in, and I said, well, maybe somebody dead.
It turned out he was right. The news seemed to hit hard for people who knew the victim. Police say whoever killed him was gone by the time they arrived. Hours later, as they returned to the neighborhood, police still were not saying how or why it happened. But some people had their own ideas. I spoke to a witness off camera who told me the man who was shot lived in that house, and he was entertaining guests. He says they were rolling dice when suddenly it wasn't a game anymore. The witness says the shooter then drove away as if nothing happened, leaving the victim, who was in his 20s, to die.
I'm surprised, because this is a real peaceful neighborhood, and, I've been here 55, 60 years.
To Rodriguez, this type of violence is unimaginable, but he hopes the crime itself is not unsolvable, that police will make an arrest soon. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Developing now, a man fighting for his life after being hit by a car and left in the road overnight. It happened near Calabria Road and Memorial Street. According to police, the victim, believed to be in his 20s, crossing Calabria Road when a white Toyota sedan traveling eastbound hit him. The driver didn't get out to check on him or anything. He left the scene. At last check, that driver had not been located. In less than an hour, the Kerrville City Council expected to meet. On the agenda, the city is expected to provide an update on recovery efforts following the deadly 4th of July flooding that killed more than 100 people in Kerr County alone. Tonight, the council will decide if they want the Kerr County tax assessor to calculate a property tax rate for Kerrville with a higher percentage. They're allowed to do this without voter approval because of the disaster declaration that was given to Kerr County. The meeting will start at 6 p.m. We'll bring you the latest on what was discussed on air and online. Meanwhile, more than 2 weeks after the deadly Hill Country floods, there's still a long way to go before everything's back to normal. All that cleanup isn't just hard work, it's also expensive. That's the focus for county commissioners in Kendall County. Patty Santos sat in on their meeting and found out how they're getting by with a little help from the state.
In Kendall County, commissioners took a look at several money-related issues related to this flood. First off, some good news. The state has agreed to take over debris removal for the county. Now, you've seen the huge piles of trees and trash. That is going to be a big chunk of money that the county is saving. Next, county workers will be paid overtime for the work they put in on July 4th. Taxpayers are set to pay over $60,000 so far. Commissioners also gave the staff the green light to apply for any state grants made available to help communities after the flood. Staff will be able to override the usual red tape that slows down that application process. The animal shelter is also looking for help with grants to help the dozens of animals that were brought in after the flood. Some of them, they say, with serious injuries that will cost thousands. Reporting from Bernie, Patty Santos.
Disaster relief donations for Kerr County growing fast, doubling to $60 million in a little more than a week. But where exactly is all that money going? Austin Dixon with the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country says the funds are being distributed to certain nonprofits to help families, small businesses, first responders, and even Ingram ISD, which sustained major damage to part of its campus during the recent floods.
The school district could meet some emergency expenses and work through the logistics that it needs to be up and running for the first day of school in a few weeks.
Right now, individuals aren't getting direct payments from that foundation. It's going to nonprofits, then to individuals. The foundation says the long-term goal is to get as much help as possible to families and businesses, similar to a model used after Hurricane Harvey hit. An update on how funding will be distributed long-term is expected sometime next week. Check out traffic right now. This is I-35 at San Marcos. We showed you one of the cameras out here yesterday. This is a different shot, and you can see different lanes are actually closed down. This is kind of normal as they work on the upper level. There you can see a couple of lanes closed down. That is construction at I-35 at San Marcos. Adam.
And see, far to the west, just west of Alverde County, we have a little bit of thunderstorm activity. Outside the KSAT 12 viewing area, we get these terrain-induced thunderstorms this time of year and this time of day out in Mexico. And one of them drifted northward into Terrell County. That's the nearest activity that we have. That's affecting Dryden, actually a severe thunderstorm. And they could have about quarter-size hail there. Take a look at the 3D view of this storm, and you'll see just isolating the hail in purple here. You see how it really flared up right as it crossed over the Rio Grande and then is now dissipating a little bit. The hail core starting to fizzle out just a little bit. Still could have some winds up to 60 miles per hour. Otherwise, we don't have anything on the radar screen, just some clouds overhead. And by the way, I don't anticipate Del Rio to really be impacted by any of that. Just a lot of cloud cover and some lightning strikes near Del Rio and the lightning strikes across the border. Around here, clouds not producing any showers. Actually, the clouds should make for a very nice sunset this evening. A colorful one around 8:40 p.m. Get outside, check it out. Our next chance of rain comes on Friday. We'll talk about that and the system that's going to cause that rain chance, where it's from, in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. He's a convicted police killer who's trying to get his death sentence overturned. An appeals hearing for Otis McKane stretching into its fourth day today. McKane convicted of shooting and killing San Antonio police officer Detective Benjamin Marconi back in 2016. And while the prosecution is calling Marconi's death a calculated murder, McCain's defense lawyers say their client did not receive a fair trial. McKane has made several court appearances this week for his appeal hearing, which is expected to continue tomorrow. This morning, the Texas High School Coaches Association convention came to an end here in San Antonio. Unfortunately, it was also a reminder that a year ago today, a Jasper ISD coach attending that same conference killed in a random act of violence in our city. Last July, Aiden Burt out at the Smoke Sky Bar near the Alamo Dome with other coaches who were in town for that convention. When San Antonio police say a stray bullet from I-37 hit Burt in the back and killed her. During this year's coaching convention, the association wanted to recognize that coach.
Aiden Burt embodied everything we believe coaching is about: selflessness, passion, a deep commitment to help young people grow. Even in her short time as a coach, she made an incredible impact on her athletes, her school, and everyone who had the privilege of knowing her.
The organization announced they'll be donating a weight room to Jasper High School in honor of Aiden Burt, and they're going to name it after her. As for the investigation, the San Antonio Police Department has not been able to make an arrest in this case. This picture of a blurry car, the only lead at this time. Crime Stoppers offering up to a $5,000 reward still if you have any information about this case. You're asked to call 210-224-STOP. The former girlfriend of a San Antonio police officer has broken her silence, telling KSAT investigates he placed an Apple AirTag in her vehicle without her knowing, and then allegedly followed her in the police helicopter. Officer Asensio Mata investigated by Internal Affairs, but eventually cleared of wrongdoing in late April. This woman, who asked that we call her Marie, said she's disappointed by the department's lack of action.
It came down to he said, she said, and his side of the story was that I agreed for the device to be in my car.
Tonight on the Night Beat, Officer Mata responds to those accusations.
Oh my God, we're stuck here.
That was on a San Antonio roadway this morning. A dump truck goes up in flames. Here you can see it fully engulfed, heavy smoke shooting out. Happened on I-10 near UTSA Boulevard just before 7 a.m. Police said the driver of the dump truck heading northbound when at least one of its tires blew out. That causing the driver to lose control and roll over and crash into a concrete wall. And then that. Police said the 33-year-old driver rushed to the hospital with severe burns. No other injuries were reported. New at 5, Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary rock star known as the Prince of Darkness, has died. Back in 1982, Osbourne made headlines in San Antonio for being arrested for urinating near the Alamo Cenotaph, a moment he later said he deeply regretted. He was banned from performing in the city for 10 years. He eventually apologized and returned to the Alamo years later. Just weeks ago, Osbourne played his final concert with Black Sabbath in England, leaving behind a legacy marked by both controversy and reconciliation. KSAT wants to hear from you. We're going to be hosting a town hall tomorrow. I'm going to be there. Myra's going to be there. I think Caskey's going to be there. Ernie Zuniga and more. It's at Santikos Casablanca. We're going to be discussing how to receive all of our KSAT content, signal issues, taking questions from the community. Just scan the QR code on your screen to sign up. Seats are still available, but they're filling up fast. It's a free event happening from 7 to 8 p.m. tomorrow. You can find more information on our website, ksat.com. The end of summer break approaching and the countdown to class has begun. If you're wondering when the first day of school is for your student, don't worry, we got you covered. Just scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you to our web article that has all the start dates for all the Bexar County and surrounding school districts. And speaking of school, almost time to go back. KSAT wants to help you out with all those expenses. We're offering one lucky winner a chance to win a $500 gift card through a special back-to-school sweepstakes on GMSA. You can enter until noon on August 1st. To enter, search for this giveaway on our website. All you have to do is fill out the form. You may win. The San Antonio travelers, listen up. An airline just announced a new nonstop flight coming up, where it is headed and when it's scheduled to take off. Plus, imagine diagnosing autism or ADHD in just 15 minutes. Researchers have unlocked a new AI test using a simple tapping game. Coming up, details on how that works. Coming up tonight on the 6 o'clock news, a large portion of the town of Hunt destroyed during the floods. But that small but mighty community not giving up. Courtney Friedman shows us how they're taking care of their own by setting up a fund that will get to people that need it fast. Artificial intelligence being used to diagnose autism and attention deficit disorder. A typical autism diagnosis can take hours, but researchers at Indiana University have developed a test that could shorten that time to just 15 minutes. To take the test, you put on a tracker and start tapping dots on the screen that disappear and reappear every few seconds. The randomness in people's movements, the determining factor for the diagnosis.
The real surprise is that the randomness in people that have autism, ADHD, or the comorbid of the two things is totally different from people that are called neurotypical, the ones that don't have this neurodevelopmental disorder.
Researchers say the test has an accuracy of 86%. Now that their research has been published, they'll be looking for more funding to expand that study. San Antonio travelers can soon take advantage of a new direct flight to the Grand Canyon State. New at 5, Frontier Airlines announcing they've added a new nonstop flight to Phoenix. Flights will begin departing from San Antonio International on October 10th. Frontier Airlines says they will fly to Phoenix 3 times a week. The Together for Texas donation drive still going on. KSAT, our sister station in Houston, KPRC, Graham Media, Gray Media set this up to help the people affected by the floods. And so far, people have donated more than $1 million. Thank you for your generosity. All that money goes directly to on-the-ground efforts in flood-affected areas through the Salvation Army. Take a live look outside on this Tuesday, and heated up quite nicely today.
That's a way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're into things being heated up, today was
yes.
the day.
Yeah, we're already at 98 degrees right now. We could actually top out at 99, and I do really think triple digits are just around the corner. If not tomorrow, then definitely on Thursday. But let's get back to our rain chances here. Our next shot is at 30%, and that's coming on Friday. So isolated coverage Friday afternoon and evening, and even into Saturday, about a 20 to 30% chance as well. Quiet across our area. I showed you those storms, West Texas and just across the river as well. And it's where they're seeing the activity in the higher terrain induced showers and storms. But I want to show you the big picture. We have to go to the Bahamas and this counterclockwise upper level circulation. That's the next upper level disturbance that's going to head our way. It's blocked right now by the high overhead. Big Blue H centered just east of us, outside of Houston. That's blocking it. However, that's going to move northward, opening the door for this upper disturbance to move its way across the Gulf over the next few days. And then by Friday, make it here, giving us some rain-making energy and a little bit extra moisture in the atmosphere. And I want to make it clear, this is not a tropical system in the sense that it could turn into a tropical storm. There are no indications that this would have any development into a tropical storm or worse, or into a hurricane. This is an upper level system, a ripple in the upper level flow that's going to come in and leave. It's going to move in and move out. Overall rainfall potential, I think, is pretty limited. I mean, we're talking under an inch for our area. I mean, even half an inch, I think we'd be fortunate to get. As usual with these, along the Gulf Coast, likely to see some higher amounts, probably 1 to 2 inches, maybe locally 3. That's along the Gulf Coast. Around here, I think some neighborhoods would be lucky to see a ½ inch around San Antonio. Bigger picture shows the action off to the west, New Mexico, parts of West Texas and Mexico. And speaking of West Texas, that's actually a good thing because West Texas, just like San Antonio and Medina County, in the extreme and exceptional drought. You go from San Antonio along Highway 90 to Del Rio, up to Comstock and over to Dryden, Sanderson. You're in that extreme to exceptional drought zone most of the time. And that's really where the last bit of extreme drought is left in our state. 98 right now, dew point is 63, so it feels like it's 2 degrees warmer than the actual air temperature. Weather watchers in the 90s, Kerrville 91, Eagle Pass 94, Lavernia at 101. That's an exception. Seguin 98 and New Braunfels at 98 degrees right now. You go to Cotulla, the typically warmer spots. Yeah, 102, Carrizo Springs 100, Laredo up to 106. Now we're starting to see more July-like and summer-like temperatures on the map. 77 in the morning tomorrow. Some low clouds early, but they're going to break up very quickly, and we'll have a lot of sunshine throughout the day. So that'll put us to 91 at noon. Then 99 the high temperature. Obviously, it wouldn't surprise me if we actually hit triple digits officially in San Antonio. Southside likely to hit 100 degrees. Bandera 97, Kerrville 94 tomorrow. Divine topping out at 97. So we're feeling the summertime warmth around here. That little chance of rain Friday into Saturday. Isolated showers and storms possible. Again, shouldn't be problematic, and we're not expecting anything severe.
Thank you, Adam. It always seems to work out that when things are pushing 100 here, Larry gets to go to Oxnard where it's nice and cool and what, 70s, Larry? They're talking about the O-line today.
Yeah, it is nice and cool. And in fact, when we're sitting inside the media tent, we have to use little light coats because it's kind of cool. So yes, we are talking about Cowboys offensive line. No Zach Martin. He was obviously a leader, and he was dominant on the field, and now the Cowboys must replace him. But Shoddy feels like they have the guys to do it. And Micah Parsons is here. He's not holding out, but he's going to practice in limited capacity. We got it for you coming up.
At the end of the day, I'm just excited that everybody's here and the energy's been awesome, and I'm excited to go play some football.
Shoddy and the Cowboys are ready to play some football as we go camping with KSAT.
Camping with KSAT, powered by Thomas J. Henry.
Football is in the air, everybody. Good evening and welcome live to Oxnard, California for Dallas Cowboys training camp. The weather is cool and beautiful and perfect today, so that made it a great day for the Dallas Cowboys to practice on the fields behind me, and that's exactly what they did. Now, following a morning walkthrough, the Cowboys hit the field at 11:45 a.m. local time for practice, and that's when cameras were allowed on the field to get the start of Brian Schottenheimer's first practice at his first ever training camp as an NFL head coach. Longtime offensive lineman Zach Martin is no longer here, having hung up his cleats. He's one of the all-time greats and a future Hall of Famer, that's for sure. His leadership will be missed, and now the offensive line must move on without him, and Shoddy feels good about his guys up front.
Well, I think it starts, with the young players, rookies from last year. I think Cooper Beebe obviously was a guy that, went in and played very well last year for a young center. We expect really great things from Tyler Guyton. You know what you're going to get from Tyler Smith. You know what you're going to get from Terrence. Both those guys are incredible. The offensive line, they've always set the mentality. They've always set the mindset. And I think we've got the right type of guys that have the right type of makeup, the right type of competitiveness to allow us to play a very, very physical brand of football that we feel like will help us win a lot of games.
Star defender Micah Parsons is here despite waiting on a contract extension. During his morning presser, Shoddy told us that Parsons will work out, but in a limited capacity.
He will participate. Good conversation with Micah. He's excited to be here, excited to be a good teammate. And again, it's awesome to have him here. Yeah, I mean, it's a ramp-up period here for the next couple of days. So, again, there'll be different versions of participation. But, again, all the walkthrough stuff, some of the mock situations, things like that. And, again, individual stuff. So we'll see what it looks like as we get going. But it's a good plan. And, again, the biggest thing for me right now is that he's here and he's trying to engage with the other members of the squad.
And you will hear from Micah Parsons coming up tonight at 6. Back to you in the studio.
All right. Thank you, Larry. We'll be right back. Before we go, I want to give you a look at what's coming up tonight on ABC's Primetime at 7 o'clock. High Potential at 8 p.m. We start 2 hours of Will Trent, followed by the Night Beat at 10. Hope you'll join us then. Thanks for watching the News at 5. World News up next. See you back here at 6.